So I just published my latest vlog where I shared what Jess and I did over the New Year's Eve break. And as I was editing that video, I was thinking a lot about my relationship with vlogging, especially because I haven't been doing it for the past year and I just decided to start doing it this month. And there's kind of this balance of being present in whatever you're doing and then also remembering to take a step back and looking at your own life from a third perspective to remember to document and record things. And in that process, there's a lot of things that I wished I recorded but didn't, but it was because I forgot to take the camera out. And then there are other times where I record a bunch of stuff and I'm just glad that I did it. So I think there's this balance of remembering to always record stuff, but then also being present in the moment of what you're doing. And I kind of just was realizing that as I was vlogging. I think at the end of the day, I'm super grateful that I'm doing these vlogs again and that I'm publishing them. I feel like when I'm not vlogging and there's no videos and there's like a moment that I remember, like, oh, remember when we did that thing? I don't have something to go back to and watch it. But actually, on one of the nights while we were on vacation, Jess and I actually watched a couple of videos from my YouTube channel, and we were able to remember some of the things that we did, and I was very grateful that I did it, and I was very grateful that I did it in this past week where we went upstate and we went to Vermont. So with that, I am continuing to try and get better at vlogging. I do want to continue making these videos, even if it's just for our own records. And it's just kind of this balance of remembering to take a step back and say, oh, this is something that I should record. And hopefully I'll get better and better. I'm trying to figure out what my style of vlogging is. I'm very happy that I found this style where we're able to put captions and be able to tell a story while just showing visuals, because I don't always remember to turn the camera on myself and talk. And on top of that, when I'm in public or even when I'm at Airbnbs, I'm always self-conscious about turning the camera around on myself and talking. And I'm not always bringing a camera with a good microphone on it. I'm normally just recording on my phone. So I'm just going to try and get better at it, or in this style of vlogging, figuring out what comes more natural to me, things that don't feel awkward, so that I'm more likely to do them. I wanted to share some of the updates that I made to my podcast card. So this is something that I had featured making in the vlog quite some time ago, and it was basically just a simple podcast card that we could roll out into the kitchen when Jess and I were recording our podcast, and it just had audio controllers, some microphones, and then a place at the top to put my laptop so I could see what I'm recording. I've since upgraded the cart to include a monitor at the very top instead of using my laptop screen. And for a little bit of time, I was obsessed with wanting to get one of those portable televisions. There's the LG Stand By Me, and there's a couple from some other brands that you could just wheel to any room and be able to bring a TV into any room. So this monitor is actually a combination smart TV and computer monitor. So I could essentially bring this into any room and watch TV, but then on top of that, be able to connect a computer and also use it in this PodCart station to be able to see what I'm recording on this huge monitor versus using the laptop screen. So last night I made one more addition, which was putting this underneath shelf on the top shelf, and that's where my laptop would sit, and then also keyboard or anything like that. It would be right there, so I could pull it out and use it. But that was the addition that I made last night. Just needed to get a few screws and stuff from the hardware store. This thing still needs to be plugged in, so there's a wire here. I just need to plug it into an outlet and it works. And on top of that, I did this because I was thinking about the podcast that Jess and I are recording and possibly turning it into a video podcast versus just being in the podcast apps. And we could actually use this as a display, like, be able to put our logo there, or if we're talking about something that includes a visual, we could throw it up on the screen on a video style podcast. Doing a small mini project today. When Jess and I were at IKEA a couple weeks ago, we saw these little bins with like a cork top on them that we wanted, but it only came in a green color, and it was also kind of shallow, so we ended up getting these like bigger white plastic containers. The thing we liked about that other container was that it had a cork top, and these are just plastic. So Jess had this idea of buying this cork contact paper. So I'm just gonna cut this to size and try to put them into this top so this has a nice softer cork top. Okay, here is the finished product. It is this plastic box with the cork top on top, and that was just the cork contact paper that I stuck on top. I just cut it to size, and I think it looks pretty cool. Ever since we started Nominee, one of the things that we've been wanting to build is a mentorship platform. And in Canada, we actually have had a lot of former politicians and even current sitting politicians very interested in wanting to participate in a mentoring program for people that are just looking at getting into politics. And for a while, one of the biggest barriers to creating that is the fact that I didn't have capital for an engineering team. Also, I'm a designer. I have very limited engineering knowledge, but over the summer, since learning how to code with AI, I've actually built up the skills to be able to do the entire thing on my own. So as of the beginning of December, we talked to a few organizations, and a few of them have been very interested in getting this thing built, and they've offered to partially fund some of the development of this platform if we're able to do it. So after entering some verbal agreements with a few folks, basically decided to spend most of December and then also January building this thing out on my own with the help of AI. We're really trying to target a February 1st internal or like closed beta. So just taking a few select people who are interested in this thing, and we've got a few people already signed up to be able to put this out there, or an MVP of this out there for them to be able to test drive it. And then in that process, developing out a few more features based off of their feedback, and then hopefully targeting a March 1st public launch. But that's the plan right now, and my priority is just coding a bunch of this stuff out to basically hit that February 1st date. So as you might know by now, I love customizing all my things, even if it's in a little minor way. I recently just found this little camera bag that I had for quite a while, and I had actually bought this a long time ago at Best Buy when I bought this camera, which is a Canon S100. I actually still use this. I've tweaked the settings to make it look like disposable camera photos on this. But I found this bag, and it was a low pro bag, and I basically just took out the original branding that was on it and cut out the old zip pulls that were on it and put these little cords on it instead to make it look pretty cool. So that was just a little minor mod that I did today because I'm going to be using this point and shoot camera, and I really like the cut of this bag, so I'm going to continue to use it.